I recently got back from Canada where I went to go see the Women's World Cup. And one of the realizations I had upon returning was the fact that, well, one, I love Montreal. It's an awesome city. But two, the fact that no one I went with knew how to use their phones once we crossed the Canadian border. So while they were scrounging, nay, fiending for open Wi-Fi networks, I was ready with Yelp reviews of where we should eat that night, Google Map directions wherever we needed to go, and how to say, where is the bathroom in French. So while this realization is fresh in my mind, I figured we should do a complete and comprehensive video on how you can use your phone overseas. The easiest way to save money on your phone bill when you're traveling overseas is to get service from a carrier that's in the country that you're traveling to. This is as opposed to using your own SIM card or your own carrier like Verizon, AT&T, whoever, over there. Because basically what happens is they're getting charged to roam on those towers and they pass those charges on to you. It can get very expensive compared to if you're using the carrier's own towers in their own country. And it is way cheaper. When I say way cheaper, I mean way cheaper. To put that into perspective, when I went over to Canada, I got 1 gig of data on a prepaid SIM card from TELUS. That cost me about $30. If I were to have used my current carrier over there instead of getting the TELUS SIM card, it would have cost me $2 a megabyte. Whip out the abacus, do that math a little bit, and you realize that that's a savings of $1,988 for the same amount of data. Okay, so first things first, you need a phone that will work with the carriers overseas. Now, here in the States, most of our phones are locked to the carrier that we bought them from. T-Mobile's locked to T-Mobile, AT&T to AT&T, etc. With the exception of some phones on Verizon, which you can watch the video in the link below for what I mean by that. So what that means is when you try to go overseas and use the SIM card over there, it'll simply tell you that the SIM card is not supported and you can't use that carrier. So you need to do one of two things. Either you can unlock your current phone and that way it will accept SIM cards overseas, or buy an unlocked phone to use overseas. All right, so if you want to unlock your own phone, you'll need to purchase an unlock code. Now you can either Google around for an unlock code supplier, or you can actually head to the link below this video to actually purchase one from my site. The site that you buy the code from, mine or not, will let you know if your phone can be unlocked, the price, and the turnaround time. Now, it does usually take at least a few days for your code to come back, so make sure that you do this well in advance of leaving the country so you can test everything and make sure it works before you head out on your flight. If you have an iPhone and you get it unlocked, there actually won't be a code that you'll get. Instead, you'll get an email that just says your phone is unlocked. You're going to plug it into iTunes, and iTunes itself will actually tell you that now the phone is unlocked. I know, iTunes unlocks it. Legit. Otherwise, if you have any other phone, you will get a code back through email, and what'll happen is you'll take out your SIM card that you're currently using, put in an unauthorized one. I recommend doing this before you leave the country. If you have AT&T, for example, borrow a friend's T-Mobile SIM, put that in the phone, turn it on, and it'll prompt you for an unlock code. You'll put in the unlock code that was provided by email, and that's it. Your phone will be unlocked, and it's permanently unlocked. It'll now accept any SIM card anywhere in the world. For whatever reason you can't unlock your phone, the other option you have is to actually buy an unlocked phone. You can get an unlocked phone that's got pretty decent specs for not a lot of money. One such phone would be, say, the Amazon Fire Phone. Now it's only $159, completely brand new, and you could even probably look for it used and find it for even cheaper. But it also comes with a year of Prime, which is $99. So it's basically getting a brand new unlocked phone with a decent camera and everything else for about $60. So if you want to check out where you can buy that phone and a few of the other ones that I recommend, click the link below to be taken to my site. Once you have your phone unlocked or your shiny new unlocked phone arrives, there's a few things we need to set up before you leave the country. Namely, apps. While you could get a plan overseas that includes minutes for calling and text messages, and while that is still cheaper than roaming on your original carrier, it's even cheaper if you just get a data-only plan, and then you can get apps that do messaging and calling over the internet. Okay, so first let's set up your messaging apps, and the first one is WhatsApp. It has to be one of the most popular apps across the globe for sending messages over data. And in order to get it to work, just head over to your App Store or Play Store, and search for WhatsApp. Download it. It'll ask you to confirm your phone number. So this is why we want to do this before we leave the country, because we want it to confirm our US phone number. And then once you download it, it's free, and it'll actually go through all of your contacts and check their phone numbers against if they have WhatsApp or not, and then it'll automatically populate a contact list for you there. Then, when you're overseas, you can literally put in the new SIM card and use data to send messages to those people, and they're gonna see it coming from your original number through WhatsApp. And so long as the two of you have WhatsApp, all of the messages that you use through that will be completely free. Next up is Facebook Messenger. Of course, if you exist, you probably have Facebook. And that also means you have Facebook Messenger. Now, there is a specific app for Messenger, so you can go to your App Store or your Play Store and download Facebook Messenger as opposed to regular Facebook. Of course, as I'm sure you know, you can use that to send messages to each other. Anyone that has Facebook can receive a message from you, so you just kind of have to let your friends know. Instead of texting you, go on to Facebook and send it through that instead of sending you a text. And of course, the same thing goes for WhatsApp and any of the other apps on this list. After that, we have Hangouts, which used to be called Gtalk. You can download it from the Play Store or the App Store as well, and it'll allow you to send IMs between you and whoever else has Hangouts. And again, just like the other ones, this uses data instead of text messages. And finally, if you have an iPhone, you're in luck, because iMessage, you know when you send a message and it turns blue, basically uses data. So when you go overseas and you put in the new SIM card, if you send a message to one of your friends, so long as they have iMessage, that will work just the way it does when you're over here. The only downside thing to remember is that when you do get a SIM card overseas, you get a new phone number, an international number. So when you text them that initial time, just let them know that it's you and that you're overseas. Now let's move on to calling apps. There's two that I used when I was in Canada. One of them being Hangouts Dialer, which is a part of Hangouts on iPhone, but on Android it's its own separate app. But essentially this gives you free calls to most US and Canadian numbers, and it uses data. So what I would do is, if I ever needed to call someone, I would literally either type in their number, or it actually lets you use your contacts, but put it into the Hangouts dialer as opposed to the regular phone dialer, and then make that call. The other one that everybody knows is Skype. Good old Blue. So if you have Skype already on your phone, if not, download it. And anyone else has Skype, you guys can call each other, just turn off the video, and it'll just be a voice call, and it won't use as much data. Skype users can contact you so long as they do it through the Skype app. You can also use the Skype dialer, just like the Hangouts dialer, to put in a number, and so long as it's in the US, for the most part, they're free to do that as well. Once you've got all those apps set up and you've checked to make sure that wherever you're staying, your Airbnb, hotel, whatever, has Wi-Fi, and you've also checked to see where the closest cell phone store is to where you're staying, because you're a thorough kind of person, then you're ready to fly, run, swim, jog, however you're gonna get to your destination. When you arrive, head to that nearest cell phone store and check to see what data-only prepaid plans they have. Again, you don't need to get messaging or minutes for calling, because even though that is cheaper than roaming over there, it's still way cheaper to just get data. And then grab yourself an activated SIM card and make sure that it's the right size. There are different sizes for SIM cards. So bring your phone with you and just have the store clerk help you pick the right size. Once that's set up, Google where you're going to be eating tonight to make sure that you have internet, and you're good to go. So while you're now all set to use your newfound internet superpowers while traversing other continents, you should be aware of your data usage. The sheer fact is that unlike the States, most other countries don't have unlimited data plans. But with that said, here are a few tips for conserving the data so that you don't run out mid-navigating somewhere in a city that you don't speak the language. First up, keep track of the data. On an iPhone, you can go to Settings and Cellular. On an Android phone, it's Settings and either Cellular or Data Network or Data Usage, depending on your version of Android. And in there, as soon as you put in a new SIM card, that data usage will reset. And then you'll be able to keep track of all of the data that you've used with that SIM card and make sure that you don't run out. Next up is avoid videos. Now, we all love a good cat video. I get it. but videos use up so much data. So what you should do is if you want to watch a video, just refrain until you get to a Wi-Fi hotspot at either a cafe or back to your hotel, your Airbnb, wherever you're staying. And finally, like I sort of mentioned before, video calls. Don't do them. Don't do them because they will use a crap ton of data. So just like with watching your favorite cat videos, when you want to do a video call, just make sure that you're on a Wi-Fi connection before you do it. And there you go, an exhaustive guide on how to use your phone overseas. So now you're ready to go traverse continents and everything else while still staying connected, as we all know we need to be. Hope this helped some people, and if it did, please thumbs up or share the video. It is greatly appreciated. If you want more videos on how to get the most out of your device or other tips and tricks, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. And as always, thanks for watching.